The jungle lay shrouded in a dense mist, the towering canopy casting intricate patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. Unfamiliar sounds echoed through the underbrush, the rustling of leaves, distant animal cries, and the occasional thud of something large moving in the distance. Deep within this untouched expanse, a clearing had been illuminated by an unnatural light, a bluish glow pulsating faintly from an object embedded in the ground. It had appeared the night before, streaking across the sky like a falling star. The villagers in the nearby settlement, nestled at the jungle's edge, had seen it and whispered of omens. Some spoke of gods descending, while others muttered about curses. But for Dr. Elena Cortez, an anthropologist and adventurer, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. She had gathered her team at dawn. Comprised of seasoned trackers, scientists, and survival experts, they carried advanced equipment and an insatiable curiosity. Elena herself was a woman of determination, her sharp mind and fearless approach to danger earning her both admiration and caution. The jungle, in all its unpredictability, was her domain. As the group ventured deeper, the air grew heavier, laden with the mingled scents of damp earth and blooming orchids. The atmosphere buzzed with tension, not just from the prospect of discovering something extraordinary, but from the growing sense that they were being watched. Shadows flitted between the trees, and the occasional crack of a branch made the team pause, scanning the foliage for threats. By midday, they reached the clearing. The sight before them was unlike anything they had expected. In the center of the open space was a large, crystalline structure, glowing faintly with an inner light. It pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat, and was partially embedded in the earth, as though it had grown there rather than crashed. "What is it?" murmured Gregor, the team's geologist, his voice tinged with awe. He stepped forward cautiously, his hand brushing against the scanner slung over his shoulder. Elena's eyes narrowed as she studied the object. "It's not from here." She motioned for the team to fan out and secure the perimeter. While the others moved to set up equipment and take readings, Elena approached the crystalline structure. Its surface shimmered with a kaleidoscope of colors, shifting and changing as if alive. When she reached out to touch it, a sudden surge of energy coursed through her hand, causing her to recoil. "It's warm," she said, flexing her fingers. "Almost like it's alive." Before anyone could respond, a low hum filled the air. It was deep and resonant, vibrating through their chests and the ground beneath their feet. The team froze, their eyes darting around the clearing. "Stay alert," Elena ordered. "We don't know what we're dealing with." From the shadows of the jungle, movement emerged. Figures, tall, slender, and otherworldly, stepped into the light. Their skin was iridescent, reflecting the glow of the crystalline object, and their eyes were large and luminescent, filled with an intelligence that was both alien and profound. They moved with a grace that seemed almost liquid, their forms shifting slightly as though not entirely solid. The team instinctively raised their weapons, the tension palpable. Elena raised a hand to calm them. "Hold your fire," she said firmly. "They don't seem hostile." The alien figures halted a few meters away, their heads tilting in unison as they studied the humans. One of them stepped forward, its movements deliberate. It raised an elongated hand and placed it over its chest, a gesture that seemed universal in its intent. Elena hesitated, then mirrored the gesture. The alien's eyes brightened, and a series of melodic tones filled the air. It was a language, complex and musical, yet incomprehensible to human ears. "Is it trying to communicate?" asked Dr. Tariq Singh, the team's linguist. He fumbled with a portable translator, his fingers trembling. "If we can record it, we might be able to analyze it later." The alien's tones shifted, becoming more insistent. It gestured toward the crystalline structure, then to the sky, and back to the humans. Elena stepped closer, her instincts telling her that this was a moment of significance. "I think they're asking for help," she said quietly. "But we need to understand why." The crystalline structure suddenly flared brighter, its light casting long shadows across the clearing. The aliens reacted immediately, their forms shimmering as they moved to encircle it. One of them turned to the humans and gestured urgently, its tones now sharp and urgent. "Whatever's happening," Elena said, "we're in the middle of it." The ground beneath their feet trembled, and a low rumble echoed through the jungle. From the edges of the clearing, new shapes emerged. These were different from the aliens, mechanical, angular, and menacing. Drones with sharp, metallic limbs and glowing red sensors advanced, their movements predatory. "Defensive positions," Elena shouted. The team scrambled to form a perimeter, their weapons trained on the approaching machines. The first drone lunged, its limbs slicing through the air. A burst of gunfire from Gregor's rifle sent it crashing to the ground, but more were coming. The clearing erupted into chaos as the humans and aliens fought side by side against the mechanical invaders. Elena ducked behind a fallen log, firing her pistol at an approaching drone. Beside her, one of the aliens extended its arm, and a beam of light shot forth, slicing through the machine. Their technology was unlike anything she'd ever seen, elegant yet devastatingly effective. Despite their efforts, the drones kept coming. For every one they destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The crystalline structure's light pulsed faster, its glow intensifying as if reacting to the conflict. "We can't hold them off forever," shouted Tarek, his voice barely audible over the din. Elena's mind raced. The aliens were protecting the structure for a reason. It was the key to everything. She turned to the nearest alien and pointed at the crystal. "What do we need to do?" she yelled. "How do we stop this?" The alien's gaze met hers, and for a brief moment, she felt a flood of emotions that weren't her own. Fear, urgency, hope. It gestured for her to follow and moved toward the structure, its form glowing brighter as it approached. Without hesitation, Elena followed. The ground shook violently, and a drone lunged at her, only to be intercepted by another alien. She reached the crystalline structure and placed her hand on its surface. The warmth she'd felt earlier surged through her, stronger this time, and the light enveloped her.